Hey guys, and welcome to the Artflow channel. In this video we're gonna finalize our mascot logotype that we were working on for the past two videos. So today we're gonna make it in color, we're gonna add some text, and overall I'm gonna show you how to finalize it. So without further ado, let's get started. In the last video we've made a lot of different things, so today we need to finalize everything. So I have this sketch, I need to lock it to the layer, Ctrl 2 or Command 2, and we need to move this outline from the left to the right. So I'm gonna select it and move it straight to the right. Perfect. Now we have some things left to do, and those things are mainly coloring. So to make it in color, I would suggest you to make a copy of this object. So simply select everything. Now hold Option on your keyboard or Alt and move it to the right. In that way you'll create a copy, and now we can add some color to this object. To make it in color, you need to select the first object, for example the body. Let's select it. Now press Shift X on your keyboard, and that way you'll swap stroke color and fill color. And now we need to assign some color to the object. As you can see on top of this artboard, we have a palette with different colors. You can assign any color you want, or simply make a screenshot of your screen and paste it into your workflow. And for the beginning, let's assign something middle brown. I think this color. Hit I on your keyboard to select eyedropper tool, click. Now we have a color. And let's do the same for this part, for the head itself. Let's make it a bit darker for this time, just so we can have some variety of colors. Later on we can decide if we want to keep this color or want to choose anything else. So for now, let's take this one. Now we have this glove. This glove is meant to be dark brown, so I'm gonna press I on my keyboard, and now let's select this color. As you can see, I don't have any stroke for this glove for now. Later on we'll see if we want to add it or no, but let's keep it that way for now. The next one is this robe, so let's select it, I, and it's gonna be something dark but not overly dark, so maybe this color or darker. Yeah, it's definitely should be darker. Yeah, like this, it looks fine. Now this pocket, it's a closed object, as you can see, so we can assign a different color, for example a color of this glove, and yeah, now it works. For this piece of cloth we need to assign something bluish like this one, and as you can see we have some strokes over here and there, and they should match the color of the object. So they cannot be simply black, they should be like navy if they're placed on top of blue object, or dark brown if they're placed on top of brown object, because otherwise it's gonna look fake, and you need to make sure that you have all colors consistent across your design. The next one is probably the hat, so yeah, let's assign some colors here. I want to keep this top part brighter than the bottom one, so let's make it brighter. Yeah, looks fine to me, looks fine. Now we need to reorganize layers, because as you can see we have some issues. The glove is underneath the robe, so we need to make sure that this glove is on top of the robe, and also we need to add some color to the cup. So let's select it, press I, choose a color. This one, it should be either lighter or darker, or this one. Yeah, let's make this one darker a little bit, and this lid is gonna be brighter. This one is gonna face the lighting from the top, so this one is going to be the lightest part from all of our objects. So this one is gonna be even lighter. This one is gonna be somewhere like this color, and this one should be even lighter. So that's what you should have at the end. Also, we can add something like this hole, so our bear can drink coffee. Let's make it darker, and yeah, maybe we'll switch it to the left side. Yep, so at the end you'll have something like this. And now what we need to do is to reorganize layers so we can have everything in order. To make it work, you need to make sure that this globe is on top of the rope. So let's select this one, and you can open layers panel over here, or you can try and use hotkeys like Command Shift and close bracket keys. But for this occasion, I think that I'll start with hotkeys and then I'll see what's going on in the layers panel. So Command, Shift, and closing bracket key. Okay, so in that way we lifted our glove to the top, it's okay. But now we need to cover this finger because it should be hidden behind this cup. So let's adjust it a little bit. I'm just gonna move it somewhere here. And this part should be covered by the cup. Like this. Okay, I think it looks fine. Now to make it more realistic, because right now the finger is a bit weird, I need to lift it to the top a bit. Okay, now it's fine. So what we have left is some issues with the strokes, because as you can see, we have a lot of strokes, but they are with off color, and also we don't have a stroke for a certain object such as this glow, so we need to definitely fix it. And let's just select this stroke. Let's apply this color, and you can make it darker, or you can use a pre-existing color, for example the same brown but a bit darker, and you can see if it works or not, like this. Perfect. So we'll use the darkest possible color from our palette. Let's select this stroke, press X on my keyboard to select stroke instead of fill. Now hold Shift on a keyboard and copy color from the object. Okay, perfect. Now we have this ideal stroke. And let's do the same for the rest of our objects. It's important to hold Shift while you're copying appearance of different objects, because otherwise you're gonna have a weird situation when you can reapply stroke width and shape to other strokes. So please hold Shift so you can copy only the color without any other appearances. And for those ones we need to make it even darker, like this. Perfect. Okay, and we have only this thing left. Nice. Okay, so our final step is to work around our head, because as you can see we don't have enough shadow underneath this head, so we need to make a shadow for it. And the easiest way possible is simply to make a copy of this head, move it to the bottom of our layers panel, and simply assign some other color. For example, let's drag this head to the bottom. I selected white arrow key, holding Option on my keyboard, and simply moving it to the bottom. Now we have this copy of the head. As you can see, it's a separate object. We need to move this new path, this one, this head, we need to move it underneath the existing head, like so. And at the end, let me show you the difference so I can be more clear. At the end, you'll have something like this. So you'll have a head and you'll have a copy that's going to be a shadow for us. Okay, the next step that you want to do is to get rid of anything that you don't like. In our case, we don't need anything starting from this point because it's floating, so we don't need anything above this point. So we need to get rid of this section. We need to get rid of anything on top, and you can do it in a couple of different ways. So the most simple one is to draw a shape on top of this existing bear. So let me show you. Reset everything, so click with your black or white arrow to the empty part of your document. Now press P on your keyboard. Now you need to draw a shape which is going to be a kind of a mask to your bear. So let's create an outline. It's gonna be like this. Perfect. And now you need to do it in this way. Simply go outside and close this shape. Now we have this funny head on top of the bear. We need to select this head as well as this shadow underneath. And now simply press Shift M on your keyboard to select Shape Builder tool. And now I think you understand what I want to do. I want to hold Alt on my keyboard so I can remove everything from this section. That's the result we have right now. And the last thing you want to do is simply assign a new color to this section, so it could be something darker, and you'll have something like this, kind of a shadow. You can extend it, you can change appearance a little bit, you can make it not so dark, you can make it a bit brighter, I think. Yeah, you can make it a bit brighter. Let's adjust it a bit. Yeah. So at the end, you'll have this interesting volume, you'll have this depth, as well as the color, the shape, everything is gonna be just fine. And we need to adjust the color for those as well, because I forgot about them. Okay, now we need to finalize our hand, because as you can see, it's kind of combined together. We need to see some fingers. So let's just apply a stroke to this glove. So I'm gonna copy probably darker color, like so, and I'm just gonna increase stroke to 5 points probably. Yeah, I think it looks fine. And now we need to readjust it, because otherwise it's gonna look a bit weird, like so. So at the end, you'll have this beautiful glow, you'll have everything. I think we're done here. What we need to do to finalize this project is to have some kind of a circle. So we can place this bear inside of this circle, and we can cut off everything that we don't want to see, and we can place a text to the bottom part. Let's create a copy of our artboard, Shift O. Now you can press plus over here. So you'll create a copy of the same settings from the previous artboard. Now let's make copy to the right. As you can see, I'm always working with the copy, because in some cases I want to go back to the previous stage, and if I made a mistake, for example, during this outline version, I can go to outline. If I made a mistake during color version, I can go to color version, and so far so on. So please make sure that you have a copy. Also, please make sure that you press save on a keyboard, Command S or File Save. Now let's add some circle to this object. Press L on a keyboard and draw a circle. Let's remove this fill for now, and let me play with it for a bit. Okay, I think this shape is gonna be just fine. What we need to fix is this hand, because right now it's cut it off, so we need to extend this hand. Let me simply draw this one outside, and let us make it like this. Perfect, we have a hand extended. And what we need to do is we need to cut out everything that we don't need. To make it work, simply select everything that you have. Now press Shift M on your keyboard, hold Alt on your keyboard, and draw on top of the object. We don't need anything from this, but we need to keep this hand. Why? Because in that way we can create some kind of depth. We can have a bear inside the circle while keeping the hand outside. It can help us to have more depth to the logotype. Also, I would like to increase stroke width for a bit, and I would like to have this stroke not in the middle but outside. So select the stroke, keep it outside. That's inside, outside. Okay, now we need to place this hand on top of this circle. To make it work, you need to either have this hand as a separate object, so you can place it on the top, or for example you can draw this hand on top of this circle one more time, or due to the fact that we already cut it out a huge portion of our bear, we can simply select this whole bear and place it on top of this circle. So let me select everything, Shift, click on this circle to deselect it, and now press Command, Shift and closing bracket key so I can move it to the top. At the end, we have this beautiful result. We have a circle, we have a bear. Let's adjust the color for this circle from black to brownish color, like so. And now we need to scale down our logotype. We need to have some extra space on the artboard, so we need to scale it down. And while doing so, you might see some issues with the strokes because they might be too big, for example. And to fix this issue, you need to go to Object, Transform, Scale, and please make sure that you have those turned on, Scale Corners and Scale Strokes in FX, because otherwise, well, when you're gonna scale down your object, your stroke might be the same, and you'll have a problem because your stroke is 2 pt, for example. You'll scale down, you'll have the same 2 pt stroke, and at the end it's going to be too thick for this size of an object. So please make sure that you have those turned on. Press OK, and now I'm gonna scale it down, and we have some extra space to write a text. The text should be the legend of a bear. We can make it simpler. Let me think about it. Okay, let's keep it that way. And now we need to assign a beautiful font face for this text so it looks more interesting and not so typical. For this one, we can use this typeface, Beaufort for LOL. It's a font from League of Legends, as I remember. I'm not sure about licensing, probably it's only for a personal use, so please make sure that you don't use it for commercial before you read out the license. And we have this text. Let's assign a color for it, and now we can definitely see that this text is too long, so we need to rearrange it in a way so it looks more interesting and not so boring. So let's remove the part. And now let's make a copy to the top. So we have the legend of a bear. Now let's scale down this part. Now we can think about what we can do here to make it even more interesting. We can add that to the left. We can make it to 2 or 3 lines. For example, the legend of a bear. So we can go back. We can type here the legend of a bear. Looks fine to me. Now we can decrease leading, so we can have less space over here between letters, and at the end you'll have something like so. Also, we can play a little bit with the spacing. We can play a little bit with some empty parts over here. We can add some lines, and you can do basically anything you want. If you want to make it portfolio ready, you can change this text. You can have the bear, you can have coffee shop here, you can scale it down, you can change this typography to something like Gilmer or Gilroy. Let's adjust boldness of it, so it's gonna be medium probably. Yeah, we can scale it down. We can increase size of this text as well as the descriptor text, and we can add some lines to the left and right to balance this composition so it looks more stable. And at the end you will have this result. You can balance the text like so, align it to the document, and at the end you'll have this beautiful Mascot logotype. To save it, simply go to File, Export, Export for Screens, deselect everything that you don't want to, and we'll export only this artboard. We'll export in JPEG, we'll export in PNG, we'll export in PDF as well as SVG. Now choose Export Location and press Export Artboard. So guys, as you can see, our long series of 3 videos about creating Mascot logotypes are finalized, finally. And yeah, that was a long journey. It's been quite difficult videos for you, I understand, because we have covered a lot of different things during creation of this logotype. But I want to make sure that you understand that this is a pro level of creating logotype, because we've covered basically anything: creating shadows, creating strokes, creating text typography, exporting, basically anything to create your logotype. And in the next videos, we're gonna cover a lot more interesting things about Adobe Illustrator. So please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and also don't forget about this ring notification bell, as well as your comments, because they are very useful for our channel, because they can boost it so more guys could see our videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.